Hi, this is about the 5th or 6th video I've attempted to make to try and help people understand trigeminal neuralgia, or for people to relate to my condition if they're suffering. My neuralgia is on this side of my face. I've had it for approximately 2 years. In those 2 years, as you well know, the pain is horrendous. It does come and go. It goes into remission, but not fully. I'm surprised now that I'm able to talk for so long without the pain away from my teeth, my front teeth on this side, because usually, and has been the case for approximately the last 2 months, whereby I've been getting the shocks. As you well know, if you're a sufferer of this condition, it's impossible to cope with the pain. I've tried different kinds of medication, carbamazepine, to be honest, that just left me in a state whereby I was zonked out. I was falling asleep constantly. I was falling over, resulting in one trip whereby I ended up in accident and emergency because I'd fallen flat on my face. Not for the first time, I may add, but the first time that I'd fallen from a standing position, literally flat on my face. I cut all my nose because the glasses that I wear were embedded around my nose, and believe it or not, I'll try to show you this. I knocked my front tooth out. So now I'm left. Not only with the condition, but I'm also left with having to cope with using or wearing a false tooth with a pallet on it, and that in itself makes talking real difficult. Hopefully I can get used to the tooth, but to be honest, that's the least of my problems, as you well know. I reduced the carbamazepine because I started taking another drug called Trigeminal. Now that was marginally better. Sorry, I'm just going to put this back in. Oh. Hey. Oh God. However, the lamotrigine, in my case, didn't seem or doesn't seem to have the same effect. But the drowsiness, the memory loss, the unable to concentrate, the list goes on really, are still there because of the drugs. Now, I'm not saying that the drowsiness and the other things associated with that would go if I was strong enough to not take drugs, but I'm not left with many options apart from the surgery that I'm having in 5 days' time. I'm having the surgery because I've gone through the process of seeing my doctor, getting the medication, getting the referral, having a brain scan, meeting with the surgeon, and whilst he offered me different options to cope with the pain, the only option that I thought was a lifeline and maybe a way to not continue in this way was the flaming egg. It's impossible to remember anything. Microvascular Decompression, which basically means they go in behind the ear and they put a sponge type substance between the offending blood vessel or artery, whichever you want to call it, which is now touching the nerve or nerves, and they place the sponge, if we call it, in between the two. Sorry. I forgot to mention another thing that does help me considerably, and I've been using this method to cope with pain. With nerve pain for approximately 10 years. Oh, because I have a back problem. I have a morphine pump fitted in underneath the skin on my stomach. Oh. Which has a cord underneath my skin and runs round into my spine and drops the morphine into my spine to help with the pain from my my back and leg. Now, I attended an 8-week pain program about 4 years ago. In that program, oh God, see the pain, I'm not sure if it's the same with you, it's just impossible to talk. In that 8-week program, I learned how to meditate using the art of mindfulness. Now that has helped me considerably to get through some of the pain. From the trigeminal neuralgia. It by no means takes the pain away, but it most certainly gives you coping mechanisms to help deflect the pain or take your mind away from the pain, because let's be honest, the pain isn't here. It isn't here or around here. It's up here or here. There's nothing wrong with my teeth. I went to the dentist and literally begged them to take my teeth out because the toothache was unbearable. I took courses of medication to try and cope with sinus problems, which again was just useless because my sinuses are fine. No doubt you've all been through these routes, or if you haven't, chances are you will. Anyway, as I say, this is about the 5th or 6th video I've attempted to make. And to be honest, I'm not saying this is anywhere near perfect, but at least I've been able to get my point across. In a more measured way. I'm hoping that the surgery is a success, because like any surgery or any brain surgery, there is a risk. And to be honest, I don't want to think of the risks at the moment. Just the positives. Ooh. I thought I was doing well. And there it goes. I can see that the video clock is ticking. And it's 15 minutes. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube. And I've watched a lot of videos longer than 15, 16 minutes because, to be honest, I've been trying to latch on to anything that may help me cope with the pain, but there's really been nothing. But what there has been does help me help people in my condition suffering the same way. Now, if I can give any advice, it would be to not be fobbed off by the medical profession. To not settle for the option of pain management through medication. Because if you've done your research, like I have, this condition never goes away. Yeah, the procedure that I'm having will help me, but I'm told it will come back at some stage in my life. But if I can get 5 years, as I'm told I may do, well, to be honest, I would take 5 months or even maybe 5 hours without this excruciating pain going off. At least then I could maybe clean my teeth, eat a meal, have a drink, maybe hot, whether it be hot or cold, without suffering the pain. I wouldn't have to put my family through watching me helplessly trying to understand the pain, but really having no idea of the concept of how shocking it is. I'm conscious now that it's almost 20 minutes, so if you need help, go and get it. Don't be fobbed off. Try and get the surgery. And hopefully I'll be able to come back next week. No. I'm sorry I've gone over the 20 minutes, but realistically, this video may have only lasted around 12 minutes if I was able to talk freely, not having to talk so slowly and measured as to set the shock off. Because moving your jaw is one of the trigger points. I forgot to mention the fatigue and the constant fatigue that you suffer, because if you're like me, I maybe get 3, 4 or 5 hours sleep. The days are long, as are the nights when you're up on your own, suffering. So, get the surgery if you can. And good luck, and hang on in there. Try the mindfulness. It really helps. Well, 22 minutes seems like a good time.